You recognize this gentleman, of course. You might call him Dr. Horton, or maybe you would call him Macdonald Carey, but at any rate, you know, of course, that he is the star of Days of Our Lives. How
Right.
nice to meet you finally in person, Macdonald.
Nice to see you, too. And is it all right to call you Bobbie?
Please do.
Please call me Mac.
All right, Mac and Bobbie.
We just had a telephone conversation before, didn't we? I mean, not recently, but several...
A telephone interview, yes.
Yeah.
And it's always nice when you get the opportunity then to put a face, you know, to that voice that you heard on the other end of the line. I want to talk about Days of Our Lives. Is there anything new and exciting coming along that we should talk about first of all?
No, the only new and exciting thing for any of us really is the 5th year that's coming up right away. But as far as the show itself is concerned, you cannot say, you know, you must not tell your listeners exactly what's going to happen, because sometimes we don't know. Now, a plot turn will happen that will disgust, appall, and amaze some of the listeners, and such a thing has just happened in that one of the characters in the show, who had an illegitimate child, placed the child out for adoption, direct adoption, then took the child back and got it through a court action. There's been a great deal of outraged comment on this, phone calls and everything else. Now, how it's finally resolved, I don't know. But if I should say now how it was resolved, I'd be giving away the whole plot. Can't
yes,
do that,
and we'd both be in big trouble.
That's right.
Of course, one of the things that people are talking about so much now, Mac, as you know, is the fact that soap operas are coming up with some of the boldest, frankest subject matter. And the very people that are watching every day are the same people who are going across the street to the neighbor and saying, my word, you know, how can they get by with that?
I know, but, well, now we don't get by with things that, for instance, pictures are doing. We don't get so outrageous in that sense. I mean, the pornographic is never present as far as any of the daily soap operas are concerned. They're comparatively clean, and in fact they are. And because they do appeal to such a cross-section of people in the United States and in the world, for that matter, there's a certain moral code that is ingrained in the lives of the characters, and it's again why people can identify with them. People in the middle class, people in the lower middle class, or upper middle class, for that matter. The great average, we'll say, of America. And I think this is one of the big appeals that it has, that it's one of the last of the bastions of morality in the United States. I'm not saying it's goody-goody, you know, but right wins out all the time, in a sense, in these daily shows.
Mac, because you do play a doctor, do you find that there are certain things that you cannot do in the series because the AMA and other organizations would be just screaming their heads off?
Well, you say that in light of the recent John Knowles business, and no, there's nothing that can't be done, nothing that we haven't touched. We're not subject to any censorship in that sense. The only censorship is what is good taste. But as far as any group is concerned, there are no pressure groups that affect us, thank heavens. Outside of the sponsor to a certain extent, in the sense that he may decide a character or an actor is not to his liking. But no, for the most part, we have pretty much carte blanche.
Macdonald Carey, thank you for coming by our set today here in Hollywood to talk with us, and we wish you continued success in
Thank you, Bobbie.
Days of Our Lives.
It's good to talk to someone from Dallas again. I've played there years ago, and it's good to be back.
Thank you.
This close.